Hey, I'm Jay from the Kubz. Welcome back to another episode of me reacting to scary animations. You guys are loving this series. This is actually one of my favorite series to do on the channel. We got Llama Arts on deck again. If you guys want to check out their full library of videos, I will put the link to their channel in the description box below. But no more talking, we're just going to jump right into it. If you guys cool with that and you're down with that, everybody get ready and buckle up, because here we go! First video of today's episode is called 4 Creepy 2-Sentence Stories Animated. That just goes to show you that you don't need to say a lot to spook somebody. All you need is 2 sentences, so let's go.
The last thing I saw was my alarm clock flashing 12:07 before she pushed her long, rotting nails through my chest, her other hand muffling my screams. I sat bolt upright, relieved it was only a dream, but as I saw my alarm clock read 12:06, I heard my closet door creak open.
Wait, that was 2 sentences? That was one long-ass sentence, my guy. Where's the periods at?
Growing up with cats and dogs, I got used to the sound of scratching at my door while I slept. Now that I live alone, it's much more unsettling.
What? Okay, first of all, the first one was like the longest sentence in the history of anything. The second one was like the babiest, dickiest sentence I've ever heard in my damn life. Number 3 better be good, or I'm choking somebody. I might choke myself, to be honest.
I begin tucking him into bed and he tells me, "Daddy, check for monsters under my bed." I look underneath for his amusement and see him, another him, under the bed, staring back at me, quivering and whispering, "Daddy, there's somebody on my bed."
Right. This fourth one better be something special. Because right now my dick didn't even jump. Like, I'm not even spooked. These are 4 creepy 2-sentence stories animated, and I'm just chilling. I'm just letting my balls hang right now. All right, let's see what this is. Number 4. It better be
I always
spooky.
thought my cat had a staring problem. She always seemed fixated on my face.
Okay.
Until one day when I realized that she was always looking just behind me.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. I'm out of here. Next video of today's episode is called Pizza Delivery Stories 1 Animated. And I have nothing bad to say about pizza delivery people or delivery people in general. They're all wonderful, beautiful, handsome, hung people. And yes, the only reason why I'm saying that is so they don't spit on my food next time they deliver me something. But let's start the video and let's check this out.
This happened 4 years ago when I was still in high school.
Oh, he got this pizza from a pizzeria, mamma mia.
I was told to do my last delivery of my shift. I got in my car, which was a 1999 Camry.
Does anybody care what car he's driving? He could have been driving a freaking scooter with a dildo up his ass. Nobody cares?
Perfect for delivering pizzas. I GPSed the address on my phone. I live upstate in the country, so
ain't nobody give a damn you driving a 1999 Camry?
I remember the sun was starting to set, so it was probably around 7 o'clock. I'd say after a good 15 minutes of driving through the foresty dirt roads, my GPS said I had arrived. Really? It was an old little cottage-like house made almost entirely of wood.
You know what that's called right there, guys? That house right there? That's called a hell no!
It was sitting all by itself in the middle of absolutely nothing but forest. The lawn was completely unkept, as the grass was almost at knee height.
That's rude. That is so rude.
I was used to this kind of thing, so I didn't think much of it.
I would never get used to that.
I took the pizza to the
I don't want grass tickling my balls.
There was no doorbell, so I knocked loudly on the door.
Boom, boom, boom.
Within 10 seconds, I heard the sound of footsteps hitting wood on the inside of the house.
Well, no shit. Obviously somebody's coming. They want their damn pizza.
The footsteps made it to the door and stopped. I started to feel uneasy. I got the feeling that I was being watched.
I'm pretty damn sure he's looking through that peephole.
"It's the pizza guy," I called out.
Pizza time.
I heard a low, harsh-sounding voice on the other side of the door, telling me to bring the pizza out back.
What?
I didn't like the idea of going back there. Something didn't seem right.
I'm good.
"Are you sure, sir?" I called out. He didn't answer my question. The sound of footsteps didn't move away from the door, so I had the feeling he was still watching me. I almost found myself walking back to my car, but I decided I didn't want any trouble with my boss. The last time I brought a pizza back, he gave me attitude.
He gave me attitude? Who was that, Mario? That looked like Mario! I want to see full face. That is definitely Mario.
Attitude. So I reluctantly walked through the uncut grass and around the small house to the back. I remember there was a shed and a little patio back there. In the patio, there was a table with 4 chairs surrounding it. In one of the chairs, facing away from me, I saw the head of somebody sitting in the seat. I began walking over and said, "Excuse me," but the person didn't even move an inch.
Ooh.
"Excuse me," I said again louder. Then from behind me, I heard, "Psst, over here." I turned around to see a man poking his head out from the corner of the house, looking at me with a crazed smile.
Did he really look like that? That looks like a ghoul. That looks like a zombie.
"Come over here, I want to show you something."
Or maybe just a crack addict or something.
I freaked out, turned around, and ran around the house in the opposite direction.
What? Somebody swinging on the swing. This ghost girl got splinters all up in her ass.
Car, for some reason still holding the pizza. I got in my car, started it, and got away from there. On my way back to the pizzeria, I pulled over to the side of the road and called the police. Eventually, I was informed that there was no sign of anybody having been in that house for a long time.
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps.
I quit my delivery job a few days after that.
That is Mario. Old ass Mario.
I have no idea what would have happened to me had I gone up to that man. But to this day, I still wish I had just turned my head to see who or what was sitting in that patio chair.
That's true. That could have been like a... Ugh! That's what I was thinking. Well, not like that. I don't think it was somebody that was dead. Because how could you not see that? Obviously, you're looking at it from the back, but you would see if that's a person or not, right? It's not completely black. But anyway, that one was actually pretty creepy. It would have been super creepy if nobody was ever in that house and he just saw like a bunch of ghosts, like it was a haunted house. But that was still a good one. Next video of today's episode is called Scariest Hallucinations People Have Had Animated. And just the thought of that creeps me out because they say if you see something supernatural, you kind of have to be in a state of being very vulnerable and just have your senses heightened. That's when people see like paranormal stuff or they just have hallucinations in general. I always feel like I'm in control of my own emotions and my thoughts and stuff like that. So I personally haven't seen any crazy stuff. But let's check out some of the scariest hallucinations other people have
You
had.
can see some weird things when you're tired, but the thing about this story, I wasn't tired. Me and the family were on vacation to some resort in a very rural area of Pennsylvania to make the setting creepier. There weren't many young people there for me and my brothers to hang out with. It seemed like more of an adult resort.
Well, boo freaking who? Hang out with yourselves, you selfish bastards.
But then one day when I was walking outside of the main lodge of the resort, I, for some reason, looked up to a window on the second floor and saw a teenage girl looking down at me. From that distance, she looked kinda cute, so I gave her a wave, but she didn't show any sign of reaction.
She gave him the finger.
So I just moved on. However, later that same day, I was so bored that I was sitting on the swing set at the little playground of the resort, and that's when I saw the same girl again. She was a little ways away from me down past the playground, close to the tree line, and she was just standing there staring at me. Being a teenage guy, my hormones controlled my body, and so I got off the swing and began walking over to her.
Wait, what does that even mean? The hormones were in my teenage body? What does that mean? You had like a raging boner for her, so you walked by? You thought you were gonna spit some game?
Getting closer
what does that even mean?
I realized she wasn't as cute as I thought she was. There was something about her face that just gave off a
He
creepy
straight up said
vibe.
she looks oogly googly, and she
put my
does.
finger on
Oh,
it.
hideous
But
beast.
if I had to say, I think it would have to do with her eyes and her mouth.
Big old bug eyes.
I'd say once I got about halfway over to her, she turned around completely and ran into the woods. And I mean she full on ran into the woods. I stopped in my tracks, completely turned off. This girl seemed like a freaky stalker. I didn't see her the rest of our stay at the resort. During the car ride home, miles and miles away from the resort, I was thinking about her. How maybe if I followed her into the woods, I could have gotten laid.
This kid thought
Fuck.
he was gonna follow some ghost-looking, evil, nasty girl into the woods, and he thought, hey, if I followed her, I probably would have gotten laid. Because maybe a condom would have been laying on the ground. And maybe a bed and a pillow and just all these candles lit and the magic would have happened. What the hell is wrong with you? This dude looked like Diego from Dora the Explorer. He ain't getting laid. He said even if there was something off about her face, you know, I'll hit it from the back. You know? I'll paper bag it or something. Like, what is wrong with this guy, man? You're on vacation. You're a teenage boy. Go watch some internet stuff.
But then what I saw next made me feel like my heart dropped into my stomach. Looking down ahead, I saw the same girl standing by the tree line on the side of the highway.
Ooh.
As we sped past her, I saw her head turn so that she was always looking right at me.
He's like, wait, Dad, please, turn around. I'm gonna get laid.
Even through the tinted minivan windows.
Dad, stop the car. I'm gonna get laid.
I asked my parents if they saw her, and they just responded, "Saw who?" Soon afterwards, I accepted that it was all in my head, and that the girl was never even there.
And he accepted he was not gonna get any of that ghost poon. Next video of today's episode is called A Creepy Ghost Hunting Story Animated. I'm really excited for this one because ghosts always freak me out. So let's check it out.
This happened about 5 years ago when I was 21. Me and my friend Seth got into this app which showed you ghosts. We'd go out ghost hunting, but nothing much would happen.
Do you guys believe in that app? I mean, I've heard of apps like that where it has that same exact little beacon or sonar, whatever the hell that's called. And I don't know if I believe it or if it just like trolls you kind of and it just like shows like little blips on the radar. But I mean, if you guys have ever experienced something like that, let me know in the comments below. But I think it's kind of just like a bullshit app.
Sometimes a dot would appear on one of our phones and it would
He's
say
like, look,
random
bro,
words. We
there's a
would
ghost
ask,
totally right
"How did you
there."
die?" And stuff like that. And sometimes the answers lined up, but it was mostly random. One night, around 2 a.m., Seth suggested going to the cemetery to see if the app picked anything up. I was hesitant, but I nervously agreed. We started making our way through the neighborhood towards the cemetery. It was weird as the streets are normally lined with cars, but they were empty on this night. We walked down the middle of the road with the app running, but it wasn't picking anything up. We finally made it to the cemetery, which was a small, family-owned one where they only buried their own.
You know, I'm just thinking right now, like if I was that young again and I was with a group of friends, this would be like the most fun thing ever. Just all downloading the app and we're all in a group and we're like,
Seth went
oh
up to the
guys,
gate and started shouting.
Like,
hoping
that would
to
be
get a
the most fun
response in
thing
the
ever.
app, but nothing happened. I was standing in the road, feeling unsettled when Seth starts yelling,
"Is that all you've got?"
I told him to stop disrespecting the dead and we should leave. He tried being funny, saying,
"Oh, I'll make them show up."
and jumped
Wow,
the
what a
gate and
dick.
started stomping on the graves while screaming.
Wow, that's somebody's grandma and grandpa, you A-Lord. And I don't even know why I just said A-Lord. I don't even know what that means. Ass-Lord?
All of a sudden, our phones said something at the same time. I looked down at my phone and it was there.
Afraid.
We both just stood there, looking at each other when 10 or so red dots appeared on the radar.
Oh.
And it said it again. When I looked back up from my phone, Seth was next to me. I said,
We have got to go.
as soon as I said that, we could hear the street lights turning off one by
Ooh.
one from the top of the street.
Oh, that is
getting
actually
closer to
very
us.
freaky.
We took off running as fast as we could. We got about halfway into the neighborhood before running out of breath and having to stop. I
Pussies?
felt like I was gonna throw up from being scared and winded. Then I heard my phone say something. It was muffled, but I knew what it said. Being too scared to look at my phone, I looked at Seth, who looked terrified. He nodded at me to get my phone out, so I slowly pulled it out, and it said my name across the top.
Oh!
I turned my phone off and said,
Screw this. I'm done.
we made our way back to my house and had a cigarette to calm down. We were talking about what just happened, almost not believing it, when I heard my phone again. This time it was my
This is
sister's
actually
name.
super creepy.
We just stood there, frozen, not saying a word, when it went off again and said my brother's name. I took my phone
Oh!
out, turned it on, and deleted the
I
app.
hate that noise.
I asked Seth to stay the night, but he refused.
Why?
I can't blame him. When I finally got to sleep that night, I dreamt a muffled voice repeating a word over and over. I started to wake up and the words became clearer. My phone was off, with the battery out,
Oh my goodness. That is
but
actually
when I
so
turned it
freaking
over,
scary.
it was lit up with the app running.
Oh my
It had a
god!
red dot about 6 feet from me.
Oh, that is
standing
terrifying.
behind
That is terrifying. Oh, that is making my eyes water. Oh, no. There's no way you saw somebody. What the heck? That is actually so freaking scary.
I woke up the next morning and went to the bathroom. I had a razor-thin cut from my left shoulder to my right hip. I don't know what happened that night, and nothing has happened to me since. Needless to say, I don't mess with that kind of stuff anymore.
Yeah. Okay, that was actually ridiculously good. I gotta give a hand clap for that. That was genuinely scary as hell. Last video of today's episode, and I know, you guys are loving this series so much. I am too. I wish I could do this all day, but if you want to see more, make sure you guys leave a like on the video. But the last video we are gonna watch is called Pizza Delivery Stories 2 Animated. The first one was good. Let's see if the second one is better.
I'll never forget this night. The pizza place I worked at was about to close, and I was getting ready to go home when the phone rang. I was working the counter alone that night, so I was taking calls. I picked up the phone. There was complete silence,
I like
so
the animation
I hung up.
style.
About a minute later, the phone rings again, so I pick up again. Still silence. I was about to hang up again when I heard the very weak and cold voice of an old woman on the other end. She said she wanted a regular pie delivered. I remained polite on the phone, but on the inside I was screaming. I just wanted to get home and end my shift. I called out to my boss that somebody is requesting a delivery. He told me I had to go. I was upset at first, but I realized it's another tip, and the old ones usually tip the most, so I decided it was okay. I took down the address and told her I would be there soon, but she had already hung up. I thought that was rude, but I ignored it and yelled to the chef that I needed one regular. My boss told me to just go home after the delivery as the place would be closed. So a little before 10 o'clock, I got in my car and put the address into my GPS. The house was 7 miles away.
Not bad.
The GPS took me to the quiet side of town.
Quiet side
I
or
arrived
dirty
to the
as hell
house.
side?
It was a small, one-floor house on a very quiet and empty block. I took the pizza and walked up to the door and rang the doorbell. There were no lights on in the house. I hoped that she hadn't given me the wrong address. I rang the doorbell again. There was still no answer.
Is that her in the
I
corner?
was about to give up when I turned my head and saw somebody standing at the window.
Oh!
I got a little freaked out and backed up at first, but
Oh,
I
she was
eventually
so
got closer
old!
to the window to see the person. It was an old woman, probably in her late 70s. She
I
was
can smell her hot ass breath from here, guys. Look at that gold tooth right there. Ugh, I don't even know if that's gold or if that shit is just decayed.
just staring at me with a blank expression. I yelled to her through the glass that I had her pizza. She didn't react to what I said, so I screamed it louder. A big smile ran across her face. Not a pleasant, genuine smile. It was a smile that sent chills down my spine.
Oh man.
I still remember that
chills.
exact face she made through the window. I decided that I was freaked out enough and got back to my car and set the pizza in the passenger seat. I had to text my boss about this. I shot him a quick text and started my car, ready to get the hell away. I looked to my right to get one more look, to see the woman standing right outside my passenger side window, giving me the same stare she had given me before. I put my car in drive and floored it down the street, not looking back. My boss never made me do a late night delivery again.
Wait, that was it? Oh, that's freaky. Like, the reason why she did that is always gonna be a mystery. Like, did she want to eat him? Did she want to, like, pipe him? I mean, he would have to pipe her.
And floored it
You
down
know what
the
I
street,
mean?
not looking back.
Like, what?
Do a late night delivery
Why
again.
would an old lady do that? This
Ran
smile
across
right
her
here.
Face. Not
When
a
she does this
pleasant, genuine smile.
That shit
It was a
is
smile
creepy
that
as
sent
hell.
chills down my spine.
Look at this. All right, guys, but those were some really good animations in this episode. I see you guys recommending me other channels in the comment sections of these videos. I will try to ask for permission so we can react to some other ones in the future. But if you guys want me to keep doing this series, make sure you guys give this video one big fat like. And tell a friend today that Jay from the Kubz Scouts is dead too!